Story 1. The bride's secret was her undoing. I was the maid of honor at my best friend Natalie's wedding. We'd been friends since 5th grade. Natalie was marrying Daniel, a solid, kind, quiet guy who adored her. The whole thing was a dream wedding, lavender theme, vineyard venue, acoustic band. She had it all planned perfectly. I noticed the tension about 15 minutes before the ceremony. A woman, in a red dress, too bold for a wedding, walked in and sat in the very back. No RSVP. Natalie froze when she saw her, then whispered something to her mom and disappeared for 10 minutes. Turns out that woman was Daniel's ex, but not just any ex. She and Daniel had dated for 5 years, and Natalie knew her well. As the ceremony started, everything seemed normal. Natalie walked down the aisle. Daniel looked like he was going to cry from joy, until the priest said, "If anyone knows a reason why these two should not be joined." The woman in red stood up. "I do," she said calmly. "Daniel, I'm sorry to do this, but you deserve the truth." You could hear the collective gasp. She walked up the aisle holding her phone and handed it to Daniel. "It's all there. The texts. The hotel bookings. The dates. She's been sleeping with your best man." The best man, Jason, went white. Natalie tried to say something, but Daniel turned and walked away. Quietly. No shouting. No drama. Just silent heartbreak. The guests were frozen. Natalie screamed, threw her bouquet at Jason, and collapsed. I helped carry her into the bridal suite. The wedding never happened. The food was served anyway. Someone even danced to the band. It felt like we were at a party for a ghost. Story 2. The groom didn't exist. I work at a wedding venue, and this one still haunts me. A woman named Christina booked our venue a year in advance. Big budget. 150 guests. Beautiful floral arrangements. She came to every meeting alone, saying her fiancé was busy with work or on a business trip. She ordered a custom arch, high-end catering, a string quartet. She even brought photos of her and the groom, but they looked off. Like the images were photoshopped. 2 days before the wedding, I asked her, "Do you want us to coordinate with the groom for the rehearsal?" She laughed nervously. "He's out of town, he'll be back for the wedding." Day of the wedding, guests arrive. She's dressed. Makeup done. Looks genuinely excited. But the groom? Nowhere to be seen. 15 minutes before the ceremony, she's pacing. She says he's late. 30 minutes go by. She asks if we can stall. An hour passes. Finally, she says, "Start without him, maybe he'll show up during." At that point, one of the bridesmaids pulls me aside and says, "We're starting to think there's no groom." Long story short, there wasn't. Christina had fabricated the entire relationship. She wanted to feel loved, admired, important. Some said it was a cry for help. Others said it was a scam. Either way, she stood at the altar, alone. Then she said, "I guess love isn't real," and walked barefoot out of the venue. Story 3. He proposed at her wedding, to another woman. My cousin Lily had been planning her wedding for 2 years. She was marrying Andrew, a quiet, tech-savvy guy. The whole wedding was rustic modern, Pinterest perfect. Andrew's best friend, Kevin, was loud, obnoxious, always joking. But Lily tolerated him. During the reception, Kevin grabs the mic for a toast. Everyone expects a funny speech. Instead, he turns to his girlfriend, some influencer-looking woman, and says, "Babe, being here today reminded me that I never want to let you go." He drops to one knee. "Will you marry me?" There was a weird silence. Lily's mouth dropped open. Andrew didn't even blink. But then it got worse. Andrew stood up, walked over to Kevin, and just punched him. Knocked him into the table. Everyone freaked out. Turns out, Kevin had been sleeping with Lily, the bride, behind Andrew's back. Andrew had just found out that week. But instead of calling off the wedding, he let it happen, because he wanted everyone to see the real Lily. Kevin's proposal? A twisted power move, like, if I can take your fiancé, I can do it in front of you. Lily broke down sobbing. Andrew walked out. Kevin left with his now fiancée, smug as hell. And Lily's mom slapped her in front of everyone. Reception cancelled. Cake untouched. And yes, they had to fight over who paid for the venue in court. Story 4, The Revenge Toast. This is the story of Emily and Jake. They look perfect on Instagram, the hashtag couple goals type. Wedding in the woods, fairy lights, eco-friendly everything. But Emily's brother, Eric, had always hated Jake. And he had a reason. He caught Jake texting someone flirtatiously months before. Emily didn't believe him. She thought Eric was being dramatic. So Eric got proof. At the reception, during toasts, Eric stood up, calm, casual. Said, "Before I toast this union, I want to play a short video." Everyone laughed. He pulled up his phone, connected it to the screen. A video played. It was Jake, in a hotel room. With another woman. Timestamped. Clear audio. Jake saying, "She'll never know." The room went silent. Emily stood. She didn't say a word. Walked over to Jake and said, "You planned an entire wedding while screwing someone else. What kind of coward are you?" Jake tried to speak, but she slapped him. Then turned to the guests and said, "Free bars still open. But there is no marriage." She left the venue in her dress, heels in hand, smiling. Story 5, The Runaway Groom Wasn't the Groom. This story comes from a family wedding, my aunt's daughter, Kara. She was marrying a sweet guy named Marcus. Everyone loved him. The wedding was small, beachside, intimate. Around 70 guests. The ceremony was about to start when this handsome, tall man walked in, wearing a crisp white shirt and no tie. Said he was Cousin Leo. He mingled with guests, charmed everyone. Toasted with the groom's mom. Took selfies. Then 5 minutes before the ceremony, Kara went missing. Everyone looked everywhere, beach, bridal suite, parking lot. She left her phone behind. Her shoes were found at the edge of the garden. Turns out, Cousin Leo wasn't Leo. He was her ex-boyfriend, Evan, the one she dated for 6 years and never quite got over. They planned it. He showed up, convinced her to run away right before the vows. Marcus stood at the altar, confused. Then someone whispered to him, she left with a man in a white shirt. They took her suitcase. The wedding never happened. They later got a postcard from Kara. "Don't be mad. I followed my heart." Marcus never answered. But rumor is, he never dated again. Outro. Weddings are supposed to be magical. But sometimes, secrets, lies, and karma crash the party. Which story shocked you the most? Comment below, and if you've got a wild wedding disaster story, we just might include it in the next video. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because love is messy, and we're here to tell the truth.